right, guys, welcome to the show. The Fantasy Football Counselor here, and we are doing a first round explained mock draft. Going to walk you through who to draft in the first round, answer the questions, because I get a lot of questions. Who do I draft first overall? That's the big question I get. Joe, if Najee's gone, if Jonathan Taylor's gone, if Henry's gone, who do I draft at number 12? Should I go wide receiver? Should I go zero RB? Should I go robust RB? What do I do in the first round? So I'm going to answer everything you need to know for the first round. Okay, guys, this is very simple because, again, this is very frequently asked. And there's a problem with asking the question of, like, who do I draft in the first round and what do I do? Because you're only focusing on one round by asking that. You got to focus on all 16 rounds. So make sure you guys, and in some of these, a lot more rounds if you need to get more bench spots. All right, guys? So get the 16-round draft solution at thefantasyfootballcounts.com. I've also linked it here below. Use code TUBE20. Save yourself 20%, guys. 16 rounds is the game changer. And you're going to see my critique, how much I know about players here. If you're new to the channel, then it'll make more sense because that's what I do, guys. I deep dive. I handpick all the winners for you, omitting all of the players that are terrible for you. All right, guys? So, again, get the 16-round draft solution. Linked it here below. All right, guys? Very important. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys click the subscribe button. And I implore you guys, listen, if you don't take anything away from this, join the Discord group below because that is a super free, passionate community, guys, you could join. So join Discord below. Get 16 rounds. Join the community. These are the most passionate, most lion mentality fans you'll get. Join the Discord and get 16 rounds. Use code TUBE20. Save yourself 20%. All right, let's dive into the first round. Let's talk about this, all right? So we're going 12th here, but I want to talk about every single player that's going to be a potential to draft in the first round. I also want to talk about 2 quarterback leagues. Again, I want to answer everything you guys need to know about the first round. Again, please drop the comments below if you have any questions in regards to this very important first round. But again, it shouldn't be your whole focus. You got to have an optimal roster, a backup plan for a backup plan. And sometimes first overall picks, first round picks don't pan out. That's where it's all about having depth. So we're talking fantasy football draft strategy here in this fantasy football mock draft. And I want to make sure you guys are aware, right, that depth is important. Okay, so let's talk about it. So if you're going first overall here, and again, I explain all this in the 16-round draft solution, what are the options, all right? The options are, for me personally, I like, again, Derrick Henry, I think, has the highest ceiling amongst running backs. I also created the Impact series. I had the beat writer on from the Tennessee Titans, Jim Wyatt. Guys, there's a link here below for the Impact series. I'm interviewing all the top influencers and beat writers for every team. His projected stat line for Derrick Henry is a little bit tame compared to where I think Derrick Henry can finish this year. He's got him projected at around, I think, I got to go back and listen to it again, about 1,600 yards, just over 10 or 12 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, I think, could break records this year. Now, last year, he was on pace for an astronomical amount of carries and volume, and he was putting up top 10 numbers. Even though he played 8 games, he was like number 6, 7 in rushing touchdowns. He had like 10. He had like rushing yards. He was a top 10. Attempts, he was top 10. Like, this guy was crushing it in all categories. Now, I think that the Titans are in a position where they have to win this year. I think, they've got Henry. They got to run him to the ground if they want to win. They've brought in Treylon Burks, who's, again, a sleeper wide receiver. They got to win this year. And in order to win, they got to run Derrick Henry. I mean, they got Hassan Haskins there who could give Derrick Henry a break, but Henry doesn't want to come off the field, right? And apparently he's good to go. Foot's good to go. I like Derrick Henry. And again, PPR, we're talking 1-point PPR, but again, I get the best player. So if I'm going first overall here in this first 5 or 6 picks, now I just did a money league, a huge money league with experts apparently. I got Henry at like 8th. It was pretty phenomenal. Okay, so he falls sometimes. But Henry, I think I got first overall. I like Najee at 2. Now, I will tell you this. I love Najee, but there's something in the back of my mind saying that, I am a little concerned about Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, if he gets to start. That could be a problem because they don't have Big Ben. He won't be dumping the ball off as much to Najee Harris potentially, so maybe there might be a reception decline. But when you're looking at a running back that's primed for volume, primed for opportunity, primed to get the workload, okay, and beyond the field, 90% plus of the snaps, you got to take a look at Najee Harris, all right? So in between Najee and Henry, either one of those guys I think could be the first overall pick, okay? Now, understand that your casual league mates, the consensus, the consensus people in your league will be looking at who is available. Like they'll be looking at Christian McCaffrey's of the world, who's only played 10 games in the past 2 seasons. Austin Eckler, who they brought in Spiller to take some of that goal line work. Isaiah Spiller as a deeper sleeper. Austin Eckler, okay? Now, here's the deal with Eckler. The guy peaked last year, 12 rushing touchdowns. In his entire career, the 4 years before, the guy did not have anywhere near 12 touchdowns. I think all those years combined, he had like 9 touchdowns, 3 or 4 years before this past season. So I look at Austin Eckler, I'm just like, you know, I think he peaked. He's good in receptions. He's just not a big volume guy. He just had over, I think, 200 attempts last year. Again, I'm kind of going to stay away from Eckler here early on. Big thing about Taylor, love him, but the last time anyone finished on top 2 years in a row was Priest Holmes. So Taylor, look for a regression out of him. And Matt Ryan really likes to throw the ball. Look for Pittman to get more involved, Alec Pierce to get more involved. So again, I like Taylor as a top 3, but first overall, you gotta factor in a natural regression for him. All right, now. Again, I don't think you can go wrong, like going a running back early. Again, Christian McCaffrey, I don't trust him. 10 games the past 2 seasons. Give me Saquon Barkley round 2 over Christian McCaffrey. All right, so Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Taylor, and I'm pretty sure, you know, within the first 6 picks, you should be able to get one of those 3 guys. If you don't, other options in the first round I like. Let's take a look here, all right? Now, Cooper Kupp is going to regress. 191 targets, just not happening again. They brought in Allen Robinson. There's going to be a Super Bowl hangover. You know, the guy's been hurt in the past. There's a chance of injury. Like, again, there's so many other variables that could bring Cooper Kupp down. Double coverage, all that fun stuff. I'm not trusting. I'm not spending a first-round pick on a wide receiver because there's so much depth at wide receiver. That's another thing you got to understand. You got to go robust RB. You got to get the running backs early. So a guy like Cooper Kupp, no way. Now, Jefferson, again, Thielen, I still think could be the one there. They were tied in touchdowns. They got hurt near the end of the season. Jefferson obviously getting a lot more yardage and a little more volume, but who's to say that Thielen doesn't get more volume this year? Who's to say that Jefferson doesn't draw the top corner and, you know, they go to good old reliable Thielen? So I'm looking at Jefferson thinking, too expensive. I'll get Thielen for value later. Dalvin Cook, he's missing time, 100%. Why would you go Dalvin Cook first round when you know he's going to miss 3 games? Guaranteed, right? He's been paid. He's been incentivized. He's hit his pinnacle. He's on the decline of his career. If you got to say to myself, I'm drafting a first-round pick, but I got to make sure I have his backup, then you shouldn't be drafting that person first overall. Dalvin Cook, I would take Dalvin Cook in the 7th, 8th round as an RB4. I don't trust him. I do not trust him. He's missing time. He's screwed people in the fantasy football championships. He always misses time. Guaranteed to miss 3 games as a floor. And again, it's like fantasy football roulette with him, like I say. I don't trust him at all. Okay, Swift in the first round is ludicrous. I mean, look at his past 2 years. He peaked at 151 attempts last year. The year before, 114 attempts. The guy's not going to get the volume. Yes, I know he's slated as the RB1, but I don't trust him. I don't think he's durable enough to be a full workhorse running back. I just don't see him being that guy. Again, people are drafting him. He's sitting 8th on the consensus rankings. Again, I think that's ludicrous. Now, I do like Jamar Chase here at the end of first round. I think 128 targets last year. I think there's more ceiling to be had. A young Joe Burrow. I think Jamar Chase's value in the first round. So, Joe, you're so picky. Who do you like in the first round? I'll tell you who I like. All right, now this is a 12-person league, 1-point PPR. It's not a super flex. Now, if you are going super flex or 2 quarterbacks, I'm still going robust RB. I'm getting that. I'm anchoring my team with an ace running back, and then I'm looking for the best available quarterback. And there's tons of depth at quarterback. You can anchor your team with a Justin Herbert, who I was getting for value in the 7th round last year. His ADP's up. You get Aaron Rodgers. You get Matt Ryan later as a backup quarterback. There's Russell Wilson. There's so much value at the quarterback position that I'm still going robust RB no matter what, or at least I'm getting a running back in that first round and anchoring my team, right? So who am I getting in that first round? Again, I like Najee Harris, but I liked him a bit more last year because of the value, and people were sleeping on him. He was outside the top 10 on the consensus. I was the only guy, and if you got 16 rounds, you were aware. I like Najee Harris. I like Derrick Henry, probably first overall. Jonathan Taylor I do like, but I'm factoring in a regression, a possible injury. What goes up must come down. I don't trust a running back doing that 2 years in a row. Because anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. I love him, love the O-line, love the team. I like Matt Ryan being included there in that offense. I think it only helps it. But Taylor's just not going to see the numbers he did last year. But still, based on volume, opportunity, talent, and depth chart, you got to take a look at Taylor, right? So you've got Henry, Najee, Taylor. I do like Ja'Marr Chase in the first round if those three guys are gone, because I can still get value later on. I can get myself a Saquon Barkley round 2. I can get myself a Breece Hall, Zeke Elliott, David Montgomery. Still a lot of running back ones available, just not the warm and fuzzy feeling that the three guys I mentioned up top here give me, right? Ja'Marr Chase, again, Joe Mixon. There's a big debate in my mind here at the end of the first round to draft Joe Mixon, and I'm going to probably do that here. Listen, I love the offense. I love the fact that, the guy's talented. Obviously, had a good year last year. My only concern and my only question mark really is, obviously, durability. He's missed some, games in the past. But also, was this the pinnacle Joe Mixon we're going to get last year? Because his entire career, this was his best year, really. He had another good year. I think it was like 2018 or something like that. Go back and check it out. But this was like his pinnacle year. Is this going to be sustainable? Now, the offense tells me that it is. I think he's on a good team. Are they going to be hung over from such a good year last year, Super Bowl hangover, all that fun stuff? Very, very possible, right? So Joe Mixon has some question marks here, but what are my other options here? Now, again, I don't follow ADP consensus. I could go literally Saquon Barkley here at the end of first round. You're talking about a guy that's in a contract year, make or break, improved O-line, absolutely zero committee, ultra elite talent, just couldn't get it going. 2 years removed from his injury, fully ready to go in a team that needs to finally run him if they want to have any chance to make it to the playoffs. So I am looking at Saquon Barkley, who is coming off in the second round, but I'm almost comfortable comboing at this point. Now, Ja'Marr Chase is gone. I'd be comfortable going with him. I'd probably combo Mixon with Saquon. You could go, you could go Javonte here. Kamara, again, a possible suspension looming. I think he'd be cleared. Either way, Kamara, I'm not really excited about him, especially on the ground. More of a receiving guy. Leonard Fournette, he's interesting because I think with Leonard Fournette, the offense will be good. Brady likes to throw the ball a lot. Fournette, again, when he was with Jacksonville years ago, the hamstring bothered him. He had his share of injuries. Now he's getting older. Coming off a pretty solid year last year. I don't feel warm and fuzzy with Fournette, especially on the Buccaneers. But I think he'll be safe and solid because I really think Brady is going to get that other Super Bowl. I think they're going to make a run. Maybe not this year, but Brady will get another Super Bowl before he retires, is my fair opinion here. Again, I don't know if I feel super warm and fuzzy about these three here. Even Aaron Jones, if you look at the attempts last year, guys, Dylan out attempted him. Dylan has really been stepping up, and he's underrated in the passing game. Aaron Jones, you could make an argument with Adams gone that he's going to be more involved in the receiving games. But I'm going to benefit from Robert Tonyan and Christian Watson as sleepers later. I'm going to fade Aaron Jones here. And again, Dylan is a thorn. And again, if you run Dylan wild, you're talking possible Jonathan Taylor numbers here on this offense if Aaron Jones went away. Maybe not as big as Jonathan Taylor, but A.J. Dillon is capable of putting up monster numbers if Aaron Jones goes away. So I think that'll be a split committee. So I'm completely fading Aaron Jones here. So what are the options? I could go mix. I'm going to take a quick glance at wide receiver. I think Diggs is a good option. I think CeeDee Lamb's a little expensive in the first round. His ADP is climbing. Tyreek Hill, I don't see the volume there. If you look at Waddle peaking at 141 targets last year, and that he was the wide receiver one, he's still there. So how is Tyreek Hill going to get 159 targets that he got last year? So that's another issue that I'm having with Tyreek late first round, early second, is that Tyreek Hill is pretty much copied and pasted from last year. People assuming, the consensus assuming that he's just going to duplicate last year's numbers without Mahomes there, right? I don't see that at all, right? Again, I think Diggs is probably your safest bet here. Again, CeeDee Lamb, I do like the ceiling here. Very expensive here in the first round. But for me personally, I'm going to probably go Mixon here as a safe option. If the stars align with Mixon, everything goes well, there's no reason. Again, I'm only accounting a possible injury and a regression in a Super Bowl hangover. Other than that, Mixon should be a workhorse back. Okay. Again, I'm not a fan. I'm more of a risk taker. I'm almost comfortable going Saquon Barkley and Javonte here back to back. But just for argument's sake here, I'm just going to go here, Joe Mixon. I would have liked even Ja'Marr Chase with a Saquon combo and come back around and get myself a second running back. But again, first round, If you're going early, you want to go either Taylor, Najee, Henry. Sometimes they fall. I'm fading Cooper Kupp. Jefferson could be a viable option for sure. I personally don't like him. I'm not saying don't draft him. Ja'Marr Chase, I think, has the highest ceilings amongst wide receivers in the first round. Youth talent opportunity. I still think there's more volume to be had towards him. Still finished top 5 in receivers last year, but, didn't get the volume that a guy like Cooper Kupp did. So I think there's more ceiling to be had with Ja'Marr Chase. I love him. And then you got a guy like Davante Adams, who I absolutely do not trust, because he is, again, getting a downgrade at quarterback. He's got Waller there. He's got Renfrow, who was the wide receiver one there, who peaked at 128 targets, who happens to still be there and will be a safety blanket for Derek Carr when Davante Adams is seeing double coverage. Adams, again, similar to Tyreek Hill, is being copied and pasted from last year. 169 targets. I personally do not see 169 targets. I don't even see 150 targets for Davante Adams this year with Waller and Renfrow there and Jacobs out of the backfield and Drake and all these other guys catching the ball in the backfield. Like, I don't see it. This is a waste of a pick, in my opinion. Adams round 1. Cooper Kupp is going to fade out and fizzle and decline this year. That's a bit of a risk there. And Tyreek Hill, be cautious. So, again, I've explained it to you guys. So the guys I like, Taylor, Najee, I like Henry, I like Ja'Marr Chase, possibly Justin Jefferson, I like Mixon. And, if I don't get Saquon here going round 2, he's not coming back around. So he could be a viable option here at round 2. Javonte Williams, I do love him. The problem is Melvin Gordon will be a pest. They split 203 attempts last year down the middle. Even if Javonte gets a boost, he's peaking at 220 to 240 attempts, which isn't bad. My concern is the touchdowns and the goal line work. What do you have, like 4 touchdowns last year to Melvin Gordon's 8? So even if he starts getting more volume, I definitely see Melvin Gordon being used in and around the goal line, barring any type of injury. So Javonte, I love him, although I think that Melvin Gordon is going to be a massive pest. And we're going to be sitting there like week 5. You're like 4 points down. It's like Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. And you're like, you just got Javonte left and you need like 5 points, and he's put up 100 yards rushing. He's got a bunch of receptions. All you need is a touchdown. They're at the goal line, and bam, Melvin Gordon hoards away that touchdown, and you're pissed. And that's what I see happening with a guy like Javonte Williams. So he is a risk. And if you draft him with caution, you draft him with RB depth, and you draft him with a robust RB strategy. So I'm going to probably take a look at Saquon here, and we'll let this thing play out here. But again, I just want to talk and hammer out that first round for you and let you know of the potential pitfalls in the first round, so that you guys are fully aware and avoid catastrophic failure here in the first round. Again, Dalvin Cook last year finished, I think, 16th amongst running backs, was drafted in the first round. Saquon Barkley actually played, but he busted based on ADP last year. CMC was completely injured. He was a huge bust. At least, Barkley put up some points. Najee Harris was drafted in and around the second round, finished first round, right? So there's a ton of volume, ton of depth, and it's about you discovering the sleepers. I can give you guys all that on a silver platter in the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it below here. Head on over to thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. Get it, guys. And, of course, join the Discord group. Join the chat. Join the conversation. You will have an absolute blast. All right, guys? So there's your first round again. I did another video on this earlier, but I want to make an update here. There's your first round fantasy football mock draft, breaking it down for you guys. All right, guys? Subscribe, thumbs up. I appreciate you. Let me know who you like in the first round. Who are you taking? Appreciate it, guys. I'm out.